is to put it under control or actually to hit it. But it's very clear that the Russians have been bogged down. It's taking much longer, I think, than what they thought. They thought that they had the military superiority, and they didn't expect such a stand by the Ukrainian military. And now they are kind of not only attacking anymore military assets of the Ukrainian army, but actually going after civilian assets. Kiev is under curfew since last night, Saturday, 8 p.m. to tomorrow, Monday, 8 a.m. And that is to make sure to go after saboteurs. There have been gunfire fighting reported on the streets of Kiev in several areas. Here in the Dnipro also there was a curfew overnight for exactly the same reason. And we were told by the military here that actually they had intercepted several rockets early this morning heading towards the airport of the Dnipro. So certainly we're not talking anymore about attacks of the Ukrainian military, but this is all-out attack on also civilian infrastructure, civilian residential neighborhoods in Kiev. And people here, you'll see around me, the city is empty. That same fear you have, it's not about if the city is going to be attacked, it's about when it's going to be attacked.
Do you get the feeling there, Hoda, that the Russian military has kind of had to take a step back, think for a bit and replan for a bit, because they didn't make the advances on days 1, 2 and 3 into or up to and around Kiev, perhaps, the capital, that everyone was assuming they were going to make, because the Ukrainian military clearly was fighting back in a way that perhaps the Russian military didn't anticipate. So that's why they're going after, you're talking about oil and gas supplies, you're talking about airports, you're talking about Kharkiv in the east, because that's so close to the border that must be an easier get to than Kiev, the capital city itself.
Well, on the face of it, it seems that the Russian military assumed that it had the overwhelming superiority. Certainly, it outnumbers the Ukrainian military. It did not probably expect that the Ukrainian military would manage to go into a combat position rather than just be on the defensive. What many people here think is that the Russians wanted to first go, have Kiev capitulate, and then it would have an easy take for the end game, which is basically taking over the Donetsk and Lugansk region, giving them to the separatists under their control. Well, that is not happening. And when you see, even if you look at Mariupol, this port city on the Azov Sea in the south of the country, well, that is a very strategic area for the Russians, because from there they can create this land corridor that would link Russia to Crimea. Even there, they're not able to take control of that port. They're surrounding it now. They're going up. They're on the eastern flank of the Dnipro River. We are on the western flank of that river now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ukrainians start also destroying the bridges that connect the two banks, because in the end game, you have a feeling that the Russians are all the time changing their tactics on the ground, trying to circumvent these difficult areas and trying to sort of move again. And I think you get also that feeling when we were on the road yesterday from Kramatorsk, which is in the eastern flank of the country, in the Donetsk region, all the way to here. All we saw on the road is convoys of Ukrainian military regrouping, redeploying, also adapting their tactics to what is happening on the ground, to the advances of the Russian army. But what we got the impression of is that the Ukrainian army is there, it's energetic, it is able to put up a stand at the moment. What probably everyone is looking at, both NATO allies and the Ukrainian government, is for how long that can last, simply because at the end of the day, when it comes to numbers, the Russian military is much larger than the Ukrainian military.
Hoda, thank you so much. Hoda Abdelhamid there, talking to us live from Dnipro. Let's go to Maria Avdiva. She's in Kharkiv, where that heavy fighting is happening, we understand. She is the research director at the European Expert Association. She joins us on Skype. Maria Avdiva, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I don't know if you've had a chance to step outside or get an idea of what's going on the streets. If you have, can you tell us what it's like there just now?
Yes, I'm following the situation very closely. I don't know if you will hear the audio from now, because the heavy shellings start